Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRFBets race of the day for Thursday, July the 11th. Well, it's opening day at Saratoga, and for horse players and racing fans, the gates open to a little heaven on earth. Race number 9 is the Grade 3 Quick Call, 5.5 furlongs on the turf course. This is a really nice race, and you can get involved all meet long with a DRFBets account. As you can see, $150 in risk-free bets when you sign up for a DRFBets account. Let's meet the field for one of 2 graded stakes races on opening day Thursday at Saratoga, the Quick Call. You can access free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them and handicap along with us as we take the field in post-position order. And Mike, the number 1 is Abyssinian, going out for Wesley Ward and John Velasquez. And this filly is nothing if not consistent. She's going to take on the boys, but she's got speed in the rail.
Yeah, speed in the rail. I guess she'll try and make the lead in here. Her turf debut way back in February, I guess, was a pretty good effort. I mean, I don't think she was beating much that day, but she won easily with an 87 buyer. Since then, found it a little tougher in States Company, but she's run well in those races, I guess. I don't love the race she's coming out of, but she did contest the pace in a race where the winner came last to first to win. So I don't know. Maybe she ran okay in there. I don't love her, Dan. I don't love her taking on the boys. But let's be honest, this isn't the toughest spot in the race. Not like there's a bunch of killers in this field.
Here's the Wesley Ward formulator fact for Abyssinian. Over the past 3 years, with 3-year-old turf sprinters running in graded stakes following a 2 to 4 month layoff, 8 for 24, a $3.77 return on investment. The number 2 is Electronic. Linda Rice is going to add blinkers here to Electronic. We disappointed a bit last time out, but he was taking on some hard-hitting older New York breds. Cluncia, the veteran, returned to buyer 82 in his most recent start. That being said, the blinkers have really got to improve Electronic's chances because he's a bit slow on paper.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I guess the blinkers are going on because if you watch the replay of his last race, he just was going a little awkwardly in the stretch instead of finishing that race at all. And so maybe that's why they're coming on. I'm not sure what the deal was there. I do think that 7 furlongs probably isn't a great distance for this horse. Those 7 furlong turf sprints are a lot different than the 5.5 and 6 sprints. And I don't think this horse really liked it. His 2 races prior to that, I get it. They're not really fast. They're against New York breds who may not be very good. But this horse won easily in both those races. And Linda Rice is not a trainer who just overrates her horses and races them overhead. If she thinks this horse fits in this race, then I'll believe her. I like this horse's 2 sprints prior to that last one. I think he'll benefit from the cutback.
The number 3 is Gladiator King, and as we see from the Timeform US pace projector, we expect this speedster to be on the early lead. He is capable on dirt. He is capable on turf. What I like about this horse is they throw him into impossible spots. He gets his head handed to him, and he just bounces back as if nothing happens. And when put in the right spot, he runs a big race on occasion. The last time he ran on turf was down during the Gulfstream Championship meet. I thought he ran very well behind a horse named Jackson, who's come back to run 4 times on dirt since then. 2 wins, a third, a second, buyers 80, 83, 84, 81. A solid horse he was running against that day. Watch this horse in the paddock and post-parade, and especially behind the gate, because he will throw a fit behind there. If he's well-behaved, I expect good speed. And listen, if no one goes with him early, he can make you pay at a big price.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. I mean, he's just an underrated horse who, all things considered, if he was trained by somebody else and probably ridden by somebody else, he'd be a much shorter price than he's going to be. I think he's a major player in this race, and I'm using him.
Connections have always thought highly of the number 4 Listing, made his debut against California bred stakes competition, won that day. Second lifetime start, shipped all the way east for the Grade 1 Champagne. Yet his 2 lifetime wins have, 2 of his 3 lifetime wins have come sprinting on the turf. He just seems like a good fit here. I thought last time out that was a real nice effort going the 5.
Yeah, I mean, he just makes a lot of sense in this race, right? I mean, I feel like I maybe overlooked him a little bit because I remember really liking his career debut. And then, they switched him to turf. I can't say I'm blown away by either of his 2 turf wins. He got a perfect trip when he won back in January. And last time, it just looks like, I know the fractions look fast. It didn't look like there was a lot of racing going on the lead that day. And he won easily again. I don't know, Dan. I think he can win this race. I don't love him in here, but I'll use this horse. He's got turf form in a race where a lot of other horses don't.
Looking for a pure name play, what better horse to win at Saratoga than the 5, Mount Travers, who ran third in his only start on turf? That was the Bridgetown 2 starts back. A, it was yielding ground. B, I just didn't think this year's Bridgetown was very good. The fourth place finisher was still a maiden, and I believe still is a maiden. Came out of that race to run third for a tag with a 75 Beyer speed figure. And now this horse is cutting all the way back to 5.5 furlongs. I think there's a real chance he could get outrun early.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also to go along with what you said about the Bridgetown, all of which I agree with, right after that race, Linda stretched him right back out on the dirt. Yep. She didn't want to keep him on the grass. I don't know. He's back to turf now. Again, it's not a great field. I think he has to improve to Linda.
As of this taping on Monday afternoon, we have a 40% chance of rain at Saratoga on opening day. We hope this race stays on the turf. Jason Service wouldn't mind if it's rained off. The number 6, Call Paul, probably the best horse in the race on dirt. Heck, he is a multiple graded stakes winner, and he won the Saratoga Special at the Spa last summer as a 2-year-old. On turf, you look at the pedigree. Boy, Frisian Fire hasn't gotten off to a good start as a turf stallion, 2 for 77 with first-time turf runners. I just don't see the turf in the pedigree, but it would be a big mistake just to simply write off Service. We saw what he did with World of Trouble when he moved that horse to turf last year.
That is true. This horse is not World of Trouble.
Right.
Listen, maybe he'll take the turf and win. I'm with you. I didn't see the turf pedigree. The second dam is a sister to Jade Flush, who was a grade 2 winner on the turf, but that was really it. I don't really want this horse on turf, Dan. Maybe he'll handle it. Maybe he'll win. I'm not betting this horse.
The 7 is fully loaded. Another one trying turf for the first time by Two-Step Salsa. Only 7% winners with first-time turf runners. The dam did win twice on the turf. However, she has foaled one horse to try the surface. That foal did not win. The dam's also a Hapto Pico Central, who really got going on the dirt when he shipped in from South America to the United States. So fully loaded does have some speed, a smidge of turf pedigree, but I'm just not sure it's enough that I want to try him in a salty race like this on the grass.
I agree with all that. I think his dirt form is fine. There's not enough turf pedigree for me to get that interested. Although, as opposed to Call Paul, this horse will be a great price in this race, and Call Paul won't.
The number 8 is Release the Thunder, entered as main track only. We'll move on to the 9, Neverland Rock. This will be the 11th start of Neverland Rock's career. He is knocking on the door. He just missed last time out, going 6 in an optional claiming race. But after 10 lifetime starts, I wonder where the improvement's going to come from. And since he's yet to buy 80, he's going to need improvement if he's going to win this race.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really like any of his races since he's gotten over here. He hasn't done that much running to me. I didn't see the excuse for him last time in a race that didn't come back that fast. I couldn't make this horse at a short price, if he's a short price.
Of the first-time turf runners, I like the 10 Sombaye the most. This one's by Into Mischief, 12% winners with first-time turf runners. The dam won several times on the turf, with stakes play sprinting on both turf and dirt. This colt was always okay on the dirt. He won the Sanford last year with a 71 Beyer as a 2-year-old, and his most recent start from a Beyer standpoint represented a pretty big step forward at Monmouth. I just have a feeling maybe this is what he's been waiting for all along. I think he catches the right field if they stay on the lawn.
I feel the same way about him. He's not my kind of horse overall, but I understand why Pletcher's making the surface switch, and I feel like there's a chance he really handles it. Of the horses making the surface switch for the first time, he's the one I'll use. I almost put him on top. I decided not to. I wound up putting him third.
Maybe the 11 Dumph just needs a turn back in distance. He's only sprinted once in his career. That was at 7 at Churchill Downs, and he won that race by a country mile. Last time out in the Mystic Lake Derby, I thought he had a nice setup. There was a good pace in front of him. He loomed very boldly at the top of the stretch. I just thought he hung. The horse that beat him, Faraway Kitten, I thought had a far worse trip than he did before angling down to the inside and beat him. Maybe Dumph is just going to be a one-run sprinter, or a closing sprinter that gets speed going 5.5. But I have to admit, I've been a little disappointed with his last few.
Yeah, me too. I liked him at the beginning. He's lost me a little bit. I'm open to him just being a better sprinter. I think there's a possibility there. So I'll use him somewhere, maybe underneath at a price, but I can't make him my top pick.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the grade 3 quick call. Mike, where are you going?
I put the 2 Electronic on top for Lindy Rice. He's in New York, but I know he's stepping way up in class, Dan. I don't think this quick call came up that strong. I like him cutting back, and I think shorter is better for this horse, and I respect Linda Rice when she moves horses up in class.
And I also respect Linda Rice when she puts blinkers on. Historically, that has been a very strong move for Linda over the last few years. This horse is going to be a price. Electronic is my 4th pick in this race. Give me your top 4.
I went 2, 3, and 10, and I'm going to throw Dumph in as my 4th pick just in the event that he appreciates turning back.
Rain or shine, I guess I'll go with the 10, Sombaye. We know that he can step on the dirt, and I think his pedigree is acceptable enough that I want to try him on turf in a race with so many question marks. He'll be my top selection in here. I'm going 10, 4, 1, and 2 in the Grade 3 Quick Call, one of 2 graded stakes races on opening day, Saratoga 2019. Get involved with a new DRFBets account and the $150 in risk-free bets. Approximate post time for the Grade 3 Quick Call is 5:51 Eastern. Good luck.